Oh my god, it's the opening to a horror movie. No, actually these are action figure heads. These are from the Best of the West series. You've got Johnny West, Jay West, Sam Cobra. He's actually Johnny West, but he has blonde hair, which makes him a Sheriff Good from Canada. And this is a Johnny. And this Johnny here, this is what this video is about. I gave him some hair. Let me point this up a little bit. Sorry about that. Anyway, I gave him some hair, a mustache, and a beard. And I was going to show you how I do that. I'm going to use this box right here. And you're going to go, what is that, a magic box or something? No, actually, this is what I call my flocculator. And inside here I have this fine powder. That's probably a hair. Let me get that out of there. Anyway, this fine powder, as you can see right here, is flock. And you can buy it off of eBay. This is a 1 ounce bag of gold flocking, what I used to make blonde hair with. And you can also buy it in ½ ounce. You can buy it in bigger bags, but ½ ounce is big enough for small projects. You only need the bigger bags if you're like doing, you can use it to do grass on model train sets. You can use it to line the inside of jewelry boxes and trays. I also plan on using different colors to flock these little hands that I made for the Best of the West series to make it look like they have gloves on. And no, I'm not racist. I have both colors. Anyway, let me show you the inside of this box. As you can see, there's a copper wire sticking out the back right here. And then, let me get a pointy stick. This lining right here is actually aluminum duct tape. And back here in the back, I don't know if you see that, there's another copper wire sticking through that is actually grounded to that. Now what that is if you look back here, is a static generator. And this is actually the static generator that comes out of an air purifier. And I found this one at the Goodwill for like $4 or $5. I took it apart, and maybe at the end of the video I'll show you one that I have in the living room that I actually plan on making a video making another one of these out of it. But yeah, all I did was hook one wire to this and the ground wire to that. And then what you want to do is you need some kind of adhesive. You can use enamel paint, you can use acrylic paint. They probably prefer you to have acrylic paint. You want to make sure that all your heads are clean. This one's got some paint on the side of his head, which probably won't make a difference. You know, it's no dirt and grease and oil so that it'll stick. And you can also use glues, like I'm going to try epoxy glue and see how that works. Now you don't want to stick your hand in here because that will shock you. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this little stick I've got here and I'm going to impale Johnny's head like this and get it in there as far as I can. And then that'll help me hold him. And then I'm going to take the glue that I have, and you want to use something that doesn't dry super quick, like an epoxy or an acrylic paint or something. And you use a paintbrush and you want to paint it on his head and stuff. That's what I did here. I painted a beard on him and a mustache to give him that look. And this has been around a while, so it's beat up pretty good. But you might remember the G.I. Joe used to have a fuzzy head. And see, this here guy, he's like a Sheriff Good. Somebody's chopped his head down for a smaller body, you know, being custom. Yeah, but he's been painted yellow, you know. So he's probably really a Johnny. Then you have Sam Cobra, the bad man. This sucker has an Adam's apple. I don't know if you can see that. He's kind of dirty. I got to clean him up. And what I would do is probably give him a brown mustache and beard and hair. Maybe put some gray flock in it to kind of give him a little salt and pepper. And you can dab this stuff on with a paintbrush or sprinkle it on with a sieve, a sieve or a sifter. There's also a flocker that you can use that has, you make it out of a bug zapper that looks like one of those tennis racket bug zappers. I made one of those. It's around here somewhere. If I can find it, I'll show it to you. But all you do is you remove the head and you just basically get a sifter, a small sifter. I got one over here. Let's grab it. Alright. You basically want to get a small sifter like this. I think I found this at Walmart. I try to find them at the Dollar Tree when I can. But this is one, I think, of a set of two that I bought from Walmart. And what you do is you put this, you take the swatter apart and you stick this inside of it, and the screws will pinch down on this. And you want to attach the internal wire to this, and then you want to hook another wire to the other end with an alligator clip and run it out. You want it coming from the actual swatter itself. And what you do is, when you're doing the flocking, you put the flock in here, and then you take the other end with the alligator clip, and say I was doing his head, you would stick like a screw or a nail in the bottom of it to hold it, and hook that alligator clip to the bottom of it, That way you have the electricity going through the item that you're working on. You can also do it with a nail and a board if you're flocking a board, like for a jewelry box. But then you just you have the alligator clip on the bottom, and you just shake the thing like that there, so you have the current going from here to the head, and it just statically makes it stand up on end rather than lay down. It looks better that way. I mean, if you wanted to, you could just put your adhesive on, just put the flock in here and shake it over it, like that. Kind of like this, It just comes out real fine. I don't know if you can see that, but you just shake it all over it like that. But that's another project for another day. I have another zapper around here. I'll do that one day for you. So right now, let's get on with the demonstration. I'm gonna take these heads and get them cleaned up, spray them with some Windex, and scrub them down, degrease them. I'll do at least one and give you a demonstration of what I'm doing. We're gonna start with this head right here. This is a Johnny, and we'll give him gold hair. I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. I've slathered some oops, got a little run there. Slathered some epoxy on Johnny's head, dripping off. And what you want to do is brush it to the edges. Kind of like that. Everywhere you want hair, you gotta have something for it to stick to, in other words. If you don't want hair there, don't get it there, which I'm going to have hair behind his ears because it ran behind his ears. Anyway. Just for your demonstration purposes is all. Okay. Now that I've got that done, let me plug in my machine because I don't have a switch on this one. Been a while since I plugged this in. I hope it don't blow up. Alright. No, it's not blowing up. Let's see if it's gonna work. Yes, I'm in my bird's room. I'm sorry. All you have to do is you stick it in here and you just kind of rotate it. I don't know if you can see the flock kind of standing up. I'm passing it between the electrode and the aluminum tape on the bottom there. You can touch the electrode, just don't stick your head into the flock or you'll have a big gob on there and that won't look too good. And you just keep doing this until it's all covered. When you make something to stick this in there with, try and use either something that's non-conductive like plastic or wood. Don't use nothing metal. I haven't been shocked by this thing, but I can imagine it ain't too great. But they do make these a little bit stronger. Let me stir that up a little bit. Alright. There we go. Now all this right here is just on there with static. It's not really glued to it. See, it blew right off his head. And there's still some places on there that need a little more attention, as you can see. You just keep passing it underneath there, getting it on it. Like so. Alright, we're going to let that dry. And I have a box here so I can just like stick this stick down into the box. It kind of looks sadistic, doesn't it? And anyway, you can see the, let me get this here out of the way, box in there. Yeah, that's the flock in there. And sometimes you have to sift it out, get it broke up into finer powder. And as far as from what you can see on this Johnny here, his darker hair came through. Now, what you can do, and there's a bald spot I must have missed with the glue. But what you can do to keep the dark spots from coming through is to actually paint the head, and they do sell adhesive the same color as the flock you're using, but you can paint the head to match the flock and it won't bleed through like this one did. I guess I'll show you what the yellow head looks like whenever it's blocked. And no making fun of that word, it's not funny, man. But this one's already set up. It's all nice and fuzzy. Other than this bald spot, kind of looks like my uncle. So, and like Jay West here is supposed to be, he is supposed to be a blonde, but you can see he has white primer under his hair. So I could actually do him in like a gray or white, you know, what you call a towhead. Or I could do him again in the blonde. But let's go ahead and do murder victim here. I was thinking I could sell these on eBay or something like that. But I don't know if anybody would be interested in it. I guess it would be worth a shot. Mix up a little more epoxy. Hate when I get that crap on my fingers. It feels so nasty. Anyway, instead of pouring it on his head this time like I did the last time, I'm gonna mix it up and just dab it on his head. Biba! Pretty bird. They want attention. They're definitely little attention whores. Alright, we're gonna, this brush is stiff, so it's gonna be like putting it on with a spatula. Leave out! This one is strictly for demonstration purposes. I'm not going to do anything with this one because he's seriously messed up. When somebody put him through the meat grinder. I do apologize for the birds. I might just fast forward through this little part right here so that you don't have to hear them birds squawk squawk. Yeah, using acrylic paint is a good alternative to using glue, because glue generally dries clear or white. You don't want to use anything like wood glue because it will show through the hair, the block. Also, you know, like I said, if you use like an acrylic paint, you can pick and choose a color that matches your block so that you won't see it so much through the block, as it were. I would imagine as far as that goes, if you wanted to get detailed with it, you could use a darker and a lighter block, like a black and a gray, to give your figure a salt and pepper appearance. Nope, don't get it on the forehead. Okay. This stuff's starting to set up. Let me plug in my machine here. I'm going to live a little dangerously. Use my hand. move the block around so I can get it on the head. It's and when it gets statically charged, that block tends to get darker looking. I'm not exactly sure why. It almost looks like it's wet. Here, let me pick you up and show you what I'm doing here. See the block, how it pulls itself up to it. There you go. That is a flocked head. That actually looks pretty good. See how the yellow doesn't bleed through the flock because it's gold flock. So it's closely, it closely resembles the yellow. So the yellow paint's not going to show through. You can see on the back of his neck there where the paint wasn't quite as prominent, where it faded, and the white paint is back there. I'm not exactly sure why there's white paint there, but but you can also like add facial hair. Oh, there, that's funny. The camera's trying to do facial recognition on him. Funny. Anyway, there you have it. One blocked Johnny West head. And you can do G.I. Joes and other action figures. But yep, that's all there is to it. You have all this block in here. Now I recommend, this is for my special action figures and stuff, and you can see how it just looks like it's wet. You see that? Look at that. It looks like, I don't know, it's it's weird. It looks like it's wet, but it's not. It's dry. Watch at it. See it pulling up to that? And this works fine for what little bit I do. And it'll work fine for like doing other things, especially like if you got some green flock and you wanted to do grass, you can get a heavier flock that the strands are a little bit bigger, so that and maybe even a little longer, so that you can do grass on a on a train set, a model train set and things like that. And you can do, in some cases, you can do even finer and use it for texture on buildings. I'm not as well versed in that kind of thing. I don't do small train sets and things like that. I just do it for the G.I. Joe. Somebody asked me one day if I knew how to do it, and I did this Johnny. And they liked it, and they wanted me to do it, but they never got back with me with the head, so I never did the Johnny Wests. But he wanted a blonde G.I. Joe, and he wanted a brown G.I. Joe, and he wanted a black G.I. Joe, hair-wise. And I said, well, I'll give it a go, And I got prepared to do it and never heard back from him. But again, this in the bottom down here, like I said, this is aluminum duct tape. You don't have to use this. You can use a piece of flashing. You can use aluminum foil. You can use a steel plate in the bottom if you want to, as long as you've got a ground and a positive, so that when you stick your head in there, that creates a static field like that, then it'll work for you. And like I said, if you want to do a jewelry box or something like that, you can, the way I see them do it is they drive a nail in the middle of a board and they spread their adhesive all over it, and then they use the little colander sifter method. They use this to shake it over the field, and it makes the grass stand up. So I hope y'all found this useful. I'll try to do a tutorial as soon as I can on building one of these. Build also the one I was telling you about with the sifter that I just threw on the floor, with the sifter and the bug zapper. And I'll just leave you guys. This is my work storage room with a shot of my birds because they want some attention. Say hello. Say hey, Bebo. Hey, Bebo. Hi, Puddin'. Pretty bird. Oh, it's a pretty girl. It's George. Hey, George. George. George is a pretty boy. Say pretty boy. Pretty bird. And this here is the asshole of the bunch. This is Deuce. He wants me to spray him with a water bottle. Huh. And there's Molly. She's the old lady. Oh, he's a pretty girl. Yes, who he is. This is the mother, father to the one looking in the mirror and the yellow female over there. Debbie's bicycle. Alright. Y'all have a great day.